I have been a teacher in your district for the past 12 years. I came to work at Washington Middle School 9 years ago because I wanted to work with at-risk kids and kids in need. That is my calling in life. It's what I was made to do, and I'm good at it. I won the Golden Apple Award a few years ago, and I am consistently rated excellent by my administrators, supervisors, students, and parents. Teaching 6th grade reading at Washington was my dream job. I am here today because it is with great sadness that I inform you of my resignation from Green Bay Public Schools. Washington has been in a downward spiral for a long time, but has been deteriorating rapidly over the past 5 years, and rapidly during this school year. I fear for my safety every day. I am equally afraid for the safety of my colleagues, and most importantly, my students. We are in danger every day when we show up to our school. Students and staff are physically, verbally, emotionally, mentally, and sexually abused every single day in the building. This environment cannot be allowed to continue. Our students have the right to go to school and be safe, and your employees have the right to go to work and be safe. None of us are safe right now. We are sworn at and called vile, crude, and sexual names every day. I have a list here of horrifying things that were said to your employees and your students in just the last 2 days. It fills a page. I struggled with whether or not to read this list to you. In order for you to grasp the abuse we are experiencing, I wanted you to feel how we feel when these things are said to us. However, I couldn't bring myself to say them out loud because they are so disgusting. Ultimately, you have to know that these things are said to your employees and your children all day, every day. This constant verbal abuse takes a toll on our bodies and minds. It's devastating that I can't bring myself to say things out loud that I have to listen to day in and day out at my workplace. In addition to verbal abuse, the people at Washington are getting injured more than ever. I thought it would take someone getting seriously injured before necessary changes would happen. But then, just a couple weeks ago, a teacher was taken away in an ambulance with a bleeding head wound caused by a fight among 3 students. Another teacher was physically attacked by students trying to set off a deadly allergic reaction on purpose, causing her throat to close and her to struggle to breathe. A student was held down on a table and his legs put into vice grips so that other students could take his shoes. A student had his pants and underwear pulled down, exposing him in a crowded hallway of students. Another student approached a group of teachers and pulled his pants down and touched himself inappropriately while laughing at their requests to stop. Male and female students this year are slapped on the buttocks, pitched in the chest, kicked in the groin. Just last week, 2 students laid on a table in the classroom and kissed each other heavily and pretended to have sex while a substitute teacher tried to get them to stop. All of those things I just mentioned happened in the month of May. I have a list that I will give to you of more. We've had fires set in the school, weapons brought in, drugs sold and used, and still it's not enough. Just last week, a student told multiple people, multiple times that, quote, "I'm going to shoot up everyone in this school." Is it going to take someone getting killed for you to finally take the drastic action that is needed? Our district says that we value health and wellness, but our work environment has become so toxic, it is literally making us sick. I have numerous colleagues out on extended leave due to stress. It's a vicious cycle because we cannot get substitute teachers to come to our building. So every single day we are asked to cover the classes of our colleagues who are out. This perpetuates the cycle because we are thrown into classes with kids we don't know, sometimes with no lesson plans or rosters, given no support, and then have all our preparation time taken away from our own classes. This compounds the stress put on us and makes us even sicker. One of my colleagues has headaches every single weekday and is taking medication. Another one wakes up with cold night sweats several times a week. One had nightmares for days after being threatened by an aggressive student. Another person, one of my teachers, wakes up every single Sunday night around 2 a.m. and throws up in anticipation of the work week starting. We have heard of more teachers now than ever before being treated for anxiety, depression, stress, and the related health concerns that working at Washington brings. I comfort coworkers who are crying daily. We exhibit symptoms of PTSD because we live in trauma from 7:30 to 3 o'clock every single day. Just the other day, I broke down after I witnessed an 8th grade student in the office screaming and swearing at a staff member about his cell phone being taken away. This boy, was in my class in 6th grade. He had never been in any trouble, never had a office referral, great student, polite young man, happy. But every day for the last 2.5 years, he has lived in the chaos that we adults have allowed to exist at his school. And he sees that the only way to survive in this environment is to be aggressive. He saw my jaw drop open at his behavior, and his face crumpled, and he started to cry instead of scream, because he is not this person. We created this person because of the environment we force him to be a part of day in and day out. Sadly, he's not the only child who has changed for the worse because of the education they are receiving at Washington. Their education teaches them the skills needed to survive in our school: swearing, screaming, skipping class, hurting people. That's the only way kids survive at Washington right now. Kids who do not learn these tactics are being tormented daily. I look out to the faces of students in my classroom and I see fear in their eyes. I have instructed my students not to answer the door to our classroom because of the truant students who run the school and come looking for fights. They pound on our doors, shake our door handles, scream swear words into our vents, punch and kick the doors, and terrorize us while we are trying to teach and learn. And these are just some of the many violent and aggressive behaviors that my kids have to deal with every day. Just a few weeks ago, some of you on the school board may have received a list detailing a 2-week period of the horrifying conditions that we are experiencing. And since that time, we have seen an increased presence of district office administrators who come to our school to try to help with crowd control for the remaining weeks of the year. That has helped, but it's not enough. It is a Band-Aid to help us survive the last few weeks. It does not bring about the change that is needed. 2 weeks ago, we had a staff meeting, and many of you were there on Wednesday after school in our cafeteria. And we talked about all the things that we as teachers are going to do differently to improve the conditions in our school. But I did not hear from any district personnel what they are going to do differently.